David.
Hey, buddy.
Welcome back, man.
Yes.
Let's do it. We're gonna do this a second time. The first time was good,
Yeah.
but people suck, and that's just life, you know. So, how are you? How's Chico?
Oh, we're great. It's a beautiful day, man. We're just enjoying life, you know.
Yeah.
He's pleasant. The words I live by.
Yeah,
Chico?
that's right. That's right. That's right, Papa. Where'd you ride this weekend? This weekend was such a beautiful
Where
weather
didn't
too.
I ride?
Oh,
Is the question.
where didn't you ride?
Well, honestly, bro, I don't like to ride during the weekends only because there's so many people.
I agree.
And it's kind of like a big distraction for me. You know, I can't focus, you know, and I can't enjoy the ride like, you know, I'm supposed to, you know,
Yeah.
or like you're supposed to. So I had the opportunity to go, like, you had this ride coming up, and I thought to myself, you're going to Venice and all that. And it's not that I don't like those areas. It's just, I needed
Traffic.
this solitude, you know.
Yeah.
I don't like driving in traffic, and it sucks. So I went to Ojai, went to a retreat out there. There's a spiritual retreat that used to be a home, and somebody turned it into a spiritual retreat. So you can go and meditate. You can go and, you know, whatever.
Do you make appointments for that, or you just show up?
You can just show up.
You could just ride your bike over there and do that.
Yeah.
That's fucking. You see, I mean, I want to do that.
My bike's pretty loud, so kind of like they're all looking.
Defeats the purpose.
You know.
Like, what a dick. What's this guy doing?
Right. And so I show up on my bike. It's really loud, and they're looking at me like, you know. But they looked at me, obviously, and didn't think I'm the average biker. You know, I had the Chico with me, I had the helmet. It got their interest.
What do you mean, the average biker? Dun 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 dun. No, I know.
I'm a bike enthusiast, man.
Yeah.
So I went there. A friend of mine actually referred me to this place. And at the time, I was going through some stuff, you know, and relationship stuff, and
Only you, man.
And
only you.
It you know, it gave me some clarity, man, just to be in that space where it's wide open and you can see the whole valley of Ojai.
So hold on, let me slow you down. So it's a house, but it's not just a house. They have multiple acres or a big property that you could just kind of relax and just escape. That's awesome.
Have events.
They do events there.
Yeah,
so it's a huge property. So it's like one of those Ojai like farmlands that they have, right?
Yeah. So we're looking. This is only my second time there.
Yeah.
And I found it. It was actually really hard to find, but I found it this time. So it was good. It was all meant to be.
Yeah.
But this time I had the mindset differently, because back when I went, I was just started getting into energy work, just starting to focus on my higher self, you know, which is something that I live for every day, you know, coming from.
Once you discovered how to access it.
Well, I wouldn't say you discover it, you're downloading it again, because your body is like a computer.
Right.
So you're changing wardrobes. So your soul and spirit live forever, infinitely.
Right.
So they can travel to different dimensions, or you can come back to Earth, you know.
So I had a buddy of mine, tell me if this applies to this. He would say that the same thing, but that our human form was just a vehicle that our soul is driving in this lifetime until it's done. It's just a car, just, you know.
Right. I like to say it's your body is the vessel, but your body is a computer.
Right.
So, you know, your computer changes.
Like the Matrix.
Yeah.
So you get different download programs.
Your soul is the hard drive. Your spirit is the memory. So you get a new computer, you download that information again. And so you obtain, each time you come to Earth or travel in different dimensions, you obtain the knowledge. That's why there's a lot of resonance. Like,
right. But you know, because there's that thing, and I've said it before on the podcast. There's things you can't do. There are things you can't do, and there are things that you don't know you can't do. like I know I can't fly a plane. I know I can't steer a submarine. I know that, but then it's like I don't know. It's like a bird that's stuck here. That's why I keep looking over there.
It's a hummingbird.
Like something. It's there with the lights and
We'll
the
have
window.
some chica. Hey, you owe me some money.
Yeah,
Come on.
yeah. Hey, pay me my money. It's a vehicle. It's a
You owe
soul.
the child support.
Yeah. How did you know? Fuck, not again. But shit, like there's things that you don't know. Like I get if you have a computer and you have a new computer, you're gonna just transfer your software.
Yeah.
But sometimes you buy a new computer and you don't even know what software to get. So isn't it kind of a discovery because you're kind of reprogramming it again? But when we come, it's like a fresh slate.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting you say that because how we describe it, us light workers, how we describe it is basically you can come new. The soul can be new on this earth in different dimensions.
Yeah.
And you're more vulnerable. So you're here to learn how to evolve. And how you evolve is based off of how many times you've been here and if you've done the work to connect to your higher self. And that's what we're here for, is to evolve and to connect to our higher self.
That's like the story of the egg.
Yeah.
You've heard that story?
No.
Yeah.
Or the huevo?
Yeah, the huevo. Huevo, not huevos. But it's a story of exactly what you're saying, that we come back in different forms and we live the life of, poverty, of rich, of, handicapped, whatever the case is, woman, male. But at the end of the story, it gets very intellectual and very, very nice and poetic. But at the end of the story, it's like we are all these people just living over and over this life, and when we treat somebody bad, we're actually treating ourselves bad, at some point of a life. But I'll send you that. It's called, if you Google the egg, the story of the egg, but it's the guy faces God at one point.
The only reference I have with an egg is like huevón, it just sits there, lazy.
Lazy huevón.
Doesn't move.
That's the Latino, that's the, no seas huevón, cabrón.
Exactly.
Vete, levántate, ¿qué chingados te pasa? Gonorrhea, like what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are the days. You brought back some childhood memories, man. I'm getting goosebumps.
I'm going to pull out the belt, el cinto.
Oh, no.
No.
Don't even. See, and now, maybe like 15 years ago, would have had some triggers on that.
Yeah.
But, one of those things is where you look back at your childhood, and that is part of the reasons why I took this journey to tap into my higher self. And when I say tap into your higher self, is you're invoking spiritualism. Now, spiritualism doesn't necessarily mean it's religion. Religion to me is more stories.
Right.
And I've tried everything. I grew up in a Mormon church for 21 years.
Really?
And going into church and falling asleep and like, oh my God, this is not resonating with me. And I couldn't really relate to a man finding gold plates by a tree and telling us how we should live.
Yeah.
Wasn't resonating with that. So,
and Scientology is even crazier story. But anyways.
But I can't judge, because there's.
Yeah, but it was just created like 50 years ago, and it was like a guy landed on Earth, some kind of goddish thing. Like, it's just weird. Yeah. And then the guy that created it is a writer. The guy that created the religion's a writer.
Yeah. So he can just write in, let's add some of this.
Yeah. I'll be the god. Yeah. So you went on this journey.
I did, and I found that it just wasn't for me. I wasn't resonating with it. And I have to resonate with something. If it's empowering it, I want to go get some more of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of like school with all the old curriculums. Nobody's learning anything because it's not fun.
Yeah.
But it should be fun and inviting and enticing. You're going into
you should be interested.
Yeah, and I just wasn't. And so I found...
And they do this in general with everybody. And I think it was Albert Einstein that says, if you judge, because they try to teach the same thing to everybody, but everybody's not capable of doing the exact same thing. People have different interests. And it says, if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it would think it's stupid for the rest of its life. So I understand what you're saying about you have to connect to it.
You have to. There has to be some kind of resonance.
Right.
And if you're not inspired or it doesn't feel good in your heart space, then it's not good. You have to just let it go. So I've started seeking my higher self, just going in, because spiritualism, like I said, is not about religion. It's not focused on that. Spiritualism is the science of the body. It's mind, body, spirit. So I looked at myself, and with all these traumas, you know, especially inner child, I was reckless, man. I didn't feel loved. I didn't feel worthy of anything. You know, sense of belonging. You know, not being worthy of you know, being loved by another human being. My dad and my mom were divorced early in my early childhood. So
a Latino with divorced parents?
Yeah, man, that's
weird.
That's regular.
I know. Trust me.
That's like the end thing. Oh, okay, no problem.
Next,
you know, that's like
swipe right.
Topacio or Rosa Savaya. You know,
yeah.
Those soap operas, and my mom was like, oh, "That's why you're setting the intention. You watch all that bullshit, and that's what happens."
Yeah.
You know? But I remember the arguments, and I remember
how old?
Man, I don't know. I was a young little morsel. You know, I was. I remember because the abuse, they took it out on us. You know, really aggressive abuse behavior, and it was just like, oh my God, what do? You know?
And then you got to add the alcoholism, the drinking, and stuff.
That on top of it, which was, you know, I was like, and it's partly the reason why I don't drink. But I was also guided.
Drinking water. Yeah. I'm kidding.
Yeah, it's good, high quality H2O.
It's actually vodka, guys. We drink.
No,
but that's why you don't drink.
No, it's White Lightning.
That's right. So you haven't drank your whole life, or
I did, just
too many bad nights.
Not because I was, you know, felt the craving. I've never had the craving to drink alcohol. I say, hey, let's go get a 6-pack. Hey, cholos, you know, let's do it. You know,
sit on the street and drink.
I only did it just to appease my friends.
Yeah,
which was like, hey, I wanted to fit in. Like I said,
social. You were a social.
Yeah. So I went through all this trauma, and I was just left. Basically, I'd come home. I didn't go to school. I hated my life because my parents, like I said, were divorced early. My dad won custody of us, and he was an artist.
Wow,
very successful artist.
That's tough.
I mean, he came back from Vietnam, and my mom was pregnant with somebody else's baby. What would you do?
Yeah,
she go, I was lonely. You know, Latina alone for 6 years.
Yeah,
you know, and that's like, you know, she said that. But then we didn't think that my stepbrother was our stepbrother. You know, we thought he was real. I mean, we thought it was our real.
Yeah, you didn't think it was your half brother.
Yeah. So
that it was your full blood.
I was really upset when that day. I remember she came over and told us when he was 16 years old, and I was just like,
why even say it at that point? Yeah. Why even say it? You know,
we always had some kind of, you know, it always occurred to us like, no, something's wrong. My sister did. She left.
Yeah.
So I can't handle this. The favoritism, you know. I mean, I would I would be grounded all the time because this motherfucker here was trying to get away with all this shit. And he shot somebody in the head one day and with a BB gun, and he blamed it on me. So
you start that sentence off with the BB gun first next time.
Yeah.
With the BB gun, he shot somebody in the head. Yeah. You know? Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Luckily, you didn't hit the eye or something.
I know.
Dude, was it somebody you guys knew or just a neighbor or just
a neighbor stranger? Who was a police explorer. And they confiscated all my dad's guns because of that.
Por la pendejadas.
Yeah. So I got blamed for it, and I sat in my room for...
And how does that happen? How do you get blamed for something and not say, fuck, no, that wasn't
Well, he
me.
felt sorry for him.
Was he older or younger?
He was younger.
He was younger.
But he felt sorry.
And he blamed his older brother?
My stepbrother, his name is Andy. He's probably going to watch this.
Yeah.
Cabron, you got to talk about
fucking
me.
Rad me. No, I thought it was, we swore.
But, you know, we were always fighting. We were always...
Like brothers. Like that's normal.
I mean, like, I mean, brutal.
Yeah, peeing
Brutal
on each
stuff,
other,
you know.
throwing ketchup, fighting.
No,
Yeah.
it's worse than that. With blood. Like the whole hallways were like
¿Qué es la diferencia en edad? What's the age difference?
4 years.
4 years. Okay. Yeah, that's my older brother's 5.
I remember the last time it was such a bloody mess. His friend didn't want to intervene because he was on PCP at the time, because he went nuts after my mom told him he was on drugs all the time, and he broke my nose.
Yeah, you can't win.
I was going to hit a bottle over his head, but I didn't want to kill him.
You weren't going to kill him. He was probably going to kill you after that.
Maybe.
No, that's what PCP is, man. There's no stop. I used to work at a club when I was like fucking, I don't even want to say how old because it was illegal, but I used to work at a nightclub, and it was a place in San Jose, the Rodeo, and then they would have like música norteña.
Yeah,
fucking
I
crazy.
that.
And man, they would get fucking crazy. And this guy was on PCP, and like 3 of us couldn't take this guy down. And the only way they were able to take him down is there used to be a San Jose detective that retired. He went and he took off his jacket. This is if you fight anybody on PCP, guys. You're not going to win the fight. What this guy did was he creeped up behind him, and he grabbed his jacket and put it over his head and pulled him back and just kept him like that in the dark inside the jacket. And the guy swang, and then he just started panicking, and then he started screaming because he didn't know where he was at or what was happening. That's the only way you're going to deal with that. But you would have hit him with a bottle, you probably wouldn't even be here today.
Well, I did fight back.
Yeah, and that's why you got your nose fucking broken.
And no, after the fact,
it's hard.
I hit him on the temple because at the time I was taking boxing stuff, and knocked him out partially. So I went one way out the door. The whole place was a bloody mess. His friend called the cops,
your house,
or the paramedics, and they rushed us both to the hospital. My dad came home, and he was just like, "What the hell?" So he separated us, and you would think that with all that has happened, we would never speak again. But I'm really close to him now. It's we forgive and forget, and part of the journey that I went through is to forgive and understand why it happened. But that inner child that I went through that time of my life was so affected. I try to educate and teach people and mentor those that are also have those situations, in their lives where they need that. And it's hard to bring up. Some people don't want to deal with it. So I was saying, if you're coming to this earth new, your spirit and soul are new, you're going to be a little bit vulnerable, mostly insecure, not confident. You're going to be reckless. So those types of spirits, they attach, and souls, they attach to like nurturing souls. Mama. They want mama to take care of them. So you see it, and I can identify it because there's a lot. And I see a lot of that, especially in the Harley world. I see it, the bikers, the badass, the whole mentality of them, they've been through some shit, and they cover themselves with this machoism, but really they're suffering inside. They're afraid to speak out. They've been through some hard stuff, So and I've identified that with a couple people I've actually mentored before, and so I chose this path for a reason, just to help them,
So you did it for yourself, and you're coaching people now.
Yeah,
that's awesome. I swear that just like in the last 2 years, I'm realizing how much programming, my mother and my surroundings growing up put into my fucking head, and how much controlling of don't do this, don't do that, don't go here, don't go there, don't be late, get a job, get this, you have to do it like this, you have to do it like that, be afraid of police officers. Like there's so much downloads that they put in a child's head. It's ridiculous. And now I'm 40, and now I'm like, fuck, man, I could have done this, and that, but I didn't because I was under the impression that it wasn't accepted. Like that. I I felt cheated.
But was that your parents' influence, or was it
Everything? No, that's everything. I'm talking about like, when you're raised in a bad neighborhood. You know, the neighborhood, you start seeing like, hey, you got to be like cops are dicks. And when you live in a shitty neighborhood, cops are dicks because their life is more all over too. But in Beverly Hills, they're not going to be dicks, or in like, you know, certain areas they're going to be nice. But when you live like in Canoga Park, you know, and you have gangs shooting at each other, you know, like that's a bad environment. Schools, you know, they teach you like, you know, the DARE programs. Don't do drugs. You know, marijuana will fry your brain. Yeah, that's programming. But I never realized how much of it worked until recently, where I'm like breaking away from all this shit. Where I'm like, dude, fuck this. Like, you know, I'm so worried about everybody else and what they think. You know, because I was programmed that way that now I'm like, dude, I got to live my life, man, because it's stressful to always think about. There was a point in my 20s that if a cop was behind me, yo temblaba. I was like, what the fuck? They're gonna take me away from my family. They're gonna tow my car. They're gonna take away my money. Like it was devastating how fucking crazy they try to put that image in there.
Right.
You know, and now I'm like, fuck this, man. Like,
did you watch the news when you were younger? Would your parents watch it?
My parents would watch it and shit like that.
That's where it all comes from, man.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's all a government. Like, I'm telling you, it's the schools. It was the DARE programs. It was the neighborhood you're raised in. It's the, you know, all the outlets, and you had no access to other information. But it's amazing, like I said, that at this age of my life, I'm like, oh, I was programmed this whole time. I was being manipulated the whole fucking time, and I'm barely catching on now. And now it's like where I'm trying to break all these fucking records and have these conversations and do the things that I thought wouldn't socially be accepted, and now that it's being super welcomed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's good. You're mentoring people, and same thing like what you're talking about, the bikes, you know, or bikers, or you're not even just bikers, but serial killers, anything. Right. It's a trauma that people deal with. I'm sorry, it's a trauma people have faced and they don't know how to deal with it.
Right.
And what they end up doing is they just repeat it. And if you were raised with a father beating up your mom, now you're this dude beating up women.
Right.
You know, and you don't know why you do it. You just think it's a fucking pattern. You know.
Yeah, that's a sore subject.
What's that?
Not that I've done it.
Yeah.
But, I've been in situations.
Well, it's a sore subject.
Exactly.
Like
we won't get into that.
Yeah. Yeah, but it exists, and that's usually the case. And the point is that there's not enough outlets to teach people that's not accepted. Yes, you grew up with it, but that's not accepted. That's not normal. Just because there's no way of breaking it. You know, the only way you break it is if there's some other male figure that intervenes in your life and guides you into a different path and shows you a different path.
Right.
But I'll say this, if your father used to beat up your mom, more than likely you listening to this probably beat up your wife now, you know? And now it's a little different because of the social media and the access of information, and people can now see so many other things. But at least that was the case for the last few thousand years, or probably all the way until the last 50 years, you know?
Right. I can't say that I've ever hit a woman, but I've seen my dad hit my mom a few times, you know, but my mom fought back too. Just so you know, she was a fighter.
Which is brave, because a lot of women back in the days were all the odds were against her. Yes. A woman would call the cops. My husband beat me up, and the cops would be like, okay, so what? Don't bother us with this. Sir, you good? Good. Okay. Don't bother us. Yeah.
I get a lot of my spiritualism from her. My dad not so much. I mean, he would laugh about my journey. He's like, oh no, you got to go to church. I'm like, no. I finally found something that actually fulfills me, man. And like I said, I've tried everything. I went to, you know, newborn Christian and all that stuff. I studied the religion for a while. I'm looking at it. It's like, wait, this Bible has been written 6 times, rewritten, King James Version.
No.
So, and I'm probably get a lot of people, you know, calling me up and say, hey, you know, you got to invoke Jesus into your life. And
Jesus.
I've done my research. And isn't it funny that how you only see him as a baby and an adult, but you never see him as a child? What kind of food did he like? Did he play?
Well, the Bible, there's I believe 18 years in the Bible that there's zero record. He disappeared. For 18 years, he disappeared.
Yeah.
So there is no picture or image or word spoken or anything said.
So that's why. And
you got Mary Magdalena. Like, what the fuck? Who's this side bitch you got, bro? Come on, Jesus. Jesus, what are you doing? Yeah.
And my grandfather was named Jesus.
Yeah. And my grandfather too.
Really? Hey, there we go.
What? We had the same What?
No, that's not. Wow.
Yeah.
Anyway, you'd be a lot taller.
Yeah. Damn it.
Because he's part Native
What
American.
What a dick, dude. On my show. You hear this, guys? Oh. Look at this guy. Come on.
Anyway, but that whole side of was one reason why I wanted to find out.
Yeah.
And I've actually done research that I couldn't find anything. And there's philosophers in those times that never really heard of this person.
Yeah.
You know, not to say, and I'm probably going to offend a lot of people, but that's just the reality, man. What I've discovered, you got to go way deep, and it hurts.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm gonna go against the grain here, and lightning gonna come down, and I'm sinning? No, it's not gonna happen.
Well, here's the thing. Today's August 29th. This is gonna be released probably in a week or two from now, but today's August 29th. That's not August 29th. July 29th.
I'm like, wait
2022. Okay?
Okay.
Do you know what that date represents?
No.
Do you know what 8/29/2022 means?
It means that
What happened 2022 years ago?
tell me, enlighten me.
The beginning of the Earth?
Oh,
The solar system?
Okay.
The galaxy? What happened in 2022 years? Why are we all counting this number together? Next year's 2023. Next year's 2024. What happened 2022 years ago?
the Big Bang.
No, man. The Big Bang was 4 billion years ago. 4 billion years ago.
I know,
Our species has been around for over 100,000
Right,
years
right.
in this force.
So
So
you
you know what's
can't-
2022 years ago? Jesus Christ.
Ah,
Jesus Christ. So the whole world decided to, Louis C.K. has a bit on this that he fucking kills. It's so hilarious. But the whole world is counting together 2001, 1993, 94. And it's been 2022 years. So it's weird because it's like, again, to Louis C.K.'s point, the Christians won. They won. like they won. We're all using their calendar. That's so weird. That thing's still flying there.
and I can't, like I said, I don't know. I don't get into that because that doesn't resonate with me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But my point is that it goes 2022 years ago.
Right.
And if you look at the Big Bang, I think the Big Bang was 4 billion years ago. The whole galaxy existence that they calculate is 13 billion years old. So,
Right.
and it's been growing ever since, and it's still growing. That's fucking wild.
So was the date when he was resurrected or when he was born?
BC. Oh, AC.
Okay.
After Christ.
Okay.
So once he died,
So
yeah.
that's the boom.
That's that. Oh, yeah. So yeah, the big
Boom.
boom.
Jesus came.
Yeah. Jesus.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I mean, it's funny because our society went, oh, I saw Jesus, there's an image. Well, that's
On my pancake.
It's an inscription in your head because
I was making breakfast.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I put the butter, and I saw La Virgen.
Yeah, I remember the
I mean,
pancake.
yeah.
That was
There was a pancake. There was a soup. There was a shirt. There was everything.
What else was it?
people-
And the tail light. I remember that one.
On a truck or something,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, as a car or something. But this is all programmed.
Yeah.
Our subconscious, when you go from childhood learning about this till your adult period of time, it's just programmed in your head. Of
Yeah,
course, you're
it's all
gonna think
programmed. It's all downloading.
So-
It's a programming and controlling
Right.
of the population.
But if you start invoking your inner and higher self, everything changes. It shifts because you have control of what affects you, and you have control of your emotions.
When you say spiritual, because automatically people start assuming mushrooms, marijuana, ayahuasca, DMT. I understand. I understand. That's what I'm saying. So when you're saying spiritual, you're talking about just mind, body, soul, no substance of any source. Mind, spirit, soul, no substance of any sort. You're talking about straight up meditating and just
Connecting to your higher self means that you're in a state of consciousness. Usually it means that you're grounded. Grounding helps us because we can identify our emotions better, people's behaviors better.
being present, right?
Yeah, because that's really important. And you have some earth and heaven in you. So you're able to have a little bit of both, like myself. I'm
Explain that.
more earth.
Yeah, but
Earth beings are basically of the earth. They're not of the world. It's a spiritual mindset, consciousness. Where someone is more heaven, they're airy. They come from, like, there's different parts. Like Lumerian is where it's a dimension, a place where we call the higher self, right? Or a higher place. And so the Lemurians are very sensitive people. They put themselves in a vulnerable state. And typically with an air person, they have lighter eyes. And earth people have darker eyes because they represent the earth. So air and water, all the elements.
Yeah.
So
Earth, wind, water, fire.
Yeah. So basically you have those types of people. Or heaven people from different spiritual realms, like heaven energy, they're here to learn grounding. And so it's essential for them. Otherwise, they'll be stressed out, lack of focus. They have a hard time paying attention, like ADD and stuff like that.
ADHD.
Yeah, but that can also happen to Earth. But with Earth, if you're not present, you get clumsy and you lose train of thought. And it's very
Focus.
typical of Earth not being present, especially if their pineal gland, the third eye, is blocked. That little tiny gland, which represents our consciousness, our higher state of mind, is very key. And these days, it's blocking our mindset, or it's keeping us from evolving. So if you go back to Egyptology, the Eye of Ra, you see it sideways. That is referencing our pineal gland. That is the actual pineal gland because they figured it out. That's how we program people. That's how we influence them. That's how we manipulate them. So all those slaves, that's how they controlled them. And it goes from another spectrum. So I had a cousin of mine recently go to Egypt. And I was actually really jealous because I've always wanted to go to Egypt and look at the pyramids. And what I've done, I'm for my intuition and my spiritual practice, I believe that those were magnetic charging stations for sending a signal to life forms from different planets. There was a guy that actually, I don't know his name, but these same replica pyramids were on the moon, on the backside, on the dark side of the moon. They found them. So I believe that we've actually found these and did an exploration up in the 60s and 70s and discovered them and found...
We found something.
Yeah, and they're not telling us.
Do you know why the dark side of the moon is dark? But no, do you know why? No, it's not a joke. Like, do you know why? Like,
it's not orbiting with the Earth.
We're looking at its polar.
And it's a satellite.
Well, with one, it's a satellite, of course. It's man-made.
It is a satellite.
It's not even real, obviously. Duh. Like, and there's fucking We know that. And two, the Earth spins like this, right? So you have the polar here, North Pole, South Pole. The moon, we're not seeing it like this. We're seeing the moon on its orbits. Polar. Right. So it spins like this, but the backside, we never get to see. So we're looking at the top of the moon or the bottom of the moon. It
orbits with her.
And that's why they call that the dark side of the moon. And people don't get that. Yeah, there's videos. There's been video leakages of giants living on the fucking moon. You know, pyramids completely built, and it's been a huge mystery that there was a race to the moon for years, because the idea between Russia and United States was the first people that get to the moon will conquer the world, because they'll build a base, they'll put weapons of mass destruction, and whoever can conquer the moon first will conquer the Earth.
But I don't believe they did that.
Well, actually,
they raced to go see what the hell that was.
Well, that's another thing.
The alien technology.
I think they did see some alien technology. Something happened. They saw something, because guess what? As soon as they landed, all the talks were over. They were like, let's look at Mars. Like nobody wanted to talk about it anymore, you know. Right. But they talk about bases. There's videos of giants. There's videos of in the dark side of the moon pyramids, or not like our pyramids, but like other blocks. Like it's a mystery. But go ahead.
Well, the reason why I brought that up is because you can channel higher evolved spirits, which can be alien too. I've channeled a few of them, and in my practice, it's a wide spectrum of different energy practices, like not just spiritualism, mind, body, spirit, but I can do frequency healing. I do entity possession removal.
Energy possession. Wow.
Yeah, entity.
Yeah. Got it.
So we do medical medium, and when I say we, it's because I connect to spirit guides or others. Like I can connect to yours. So if you're having cancer, for example, I can go in even before it's diagnosed and before you knew it. I can lay you down on the table and actually put crystals on you that actually help me to balance your chakras, because I need to do that before I read you, and take a pendulum, which is a powerful crystal that I can go in and see if you have these. And I've done it many times. And the first time I did it, I was really excited. I got goosebumps. I'm like, oh my God, I'm really helping somebody, you know, finding it. This power is coming to me. So I had to channel that energy all the time in doing it. How it started was I was running amok, man. I was going crazy. I was really angry. I was fighting all the time. I went out, pull people out of their cars and beat them up from just excessive anger. I had a really bad temper. I didn't care who you were. I would fight you. And I have scars to prove that. And it was just nasty. And one day my thumb was hanging down. I was running in the middle of a state college, and my thumb was just from a knife that was about to go on my neck. And it was hanging off my thumb, and I didn't really realize it until the cop was like, "Are you okay? You need some help?" So no, you can take care of that dude though. And he was stabbed because it was either me or him, you know. So
yeah, self-defense.
It was brutal, you know. So I didn't like that, and I used this power to kind of like shift my consciousness. And so I met somebody, and I believe she was an angel representing the higher realm. And she came in, and hey, I'm guided to do something for you. Would you come and lay it down on this table? And she put crystals on me the first time. And I'm like, all right. I was like, but you got to be open to receive this.
You're like, she's hot. She's hot. Fuck it. Whatever.
No, she was older.
Yeah.
And I think because if she was younger,
yeah.
and she had the, you know, the nalguitas and the chichotas, I wouldn't do it, man.
Yeah.
I'll be like, hey, come on, let's go.
Like, I'm going to put my crystal on you. Guess look what I brought over here. No. Put your hand in my pocket. Look.
Exactly. What crystal is that?
I thought you said there's crystals. I thought you said your name was Crystal.
So it was.
This is serious, guys.
I didn't take it seriously in the beginning, and I actually laughed.
It's hard, yeah.
You know, I was like, okay, are you willing to do it? So she had to do it twice because the first time I was like, you know, I'm like nervous. You know, what is this girl gonna do to me? You know, I was like, what am I doing? I was like, I'm inviting like, a trap. Are you gonna take my soul?
You're gonna fucking steal my car?
So that's what happened.
Yeah.
I was nervous and I was sweating like crazy. So she did these crystals, and honestly, man, the first time she put one on me, I felt different. And then by the time it was done, I fell asleep, and then I started bawling. I started crying, man. I just felt this huge release, this burden. Apparently,
emotions.
All my root chakra, my sacral, these are the auric fields. There's 7, really 8. But I'll explain to you what they represent. And they start from the root chakra is the lower, and it starts from your higher crown. Your third eye is important. Throat, heart chakra, sacral, and what happened was all of them were out. They were all shifted, which was my behaviors. I couldn't invite the, grounding. I would just run amok and just go crazy. And so she grounded me. I was like, what is this? I'm like, I was able to breathe. I was able to sleep better. And so she did it again. She goes, I'm guided to do this again.
It's the third time.
I go, who's telling you this? She goes, higher evolved spirits, angels. So I'm like, huh. So what she did the second time, she gave me the gift. She helped me download from what I already knew in other lifetimes, because she said that I had this power. We're like, what power?
Yeah.
Am I a superhero? Am I going to fly? Am I going to do some things? She told me that I had a Archangel Gabriel energy. So that I'm able to channel. I can do these things. I'm a powerful healer. I'm like, okay. It was really hard for me to absorb all that. But now that I get it and I'm doing the work, it's different.
Yeah.
I can honestly tell you that being a medical intuitive, I can go into someone's body and I can actually tell you everything about them, what traumas that they had. I can go into a restaurant, I can go anywhere, and I can tell you all about that person if I tap in.
That's crazy.
And it's exhausting, let me tell you.
Oh, I'm sure.
And I was like, hey, I'm just practicing. My first time just getting familiar with it. This dude was next to me drinking Diet Coke. And some meal he was eating. I'm like, what are you eating, dude? That's nasty, nitrates. I'm like...
Yeah, it's like a microwave burrito.
And I'm looking at it, and then I looked, and I saw his heart explode. Literally, I was like, okay. So I went up to him. This is the first time. I didn't know what to do with his energy, because you don't approach people. They have to be open to receive it. I go, do you have? Excuse me, but I don't know how to tell you this, but you have heart issues. Like, how do you know that? He got really defensive. It's like, I'm trying to eat here. Can you not talk about that? And it just came back from the hospital. So and I was telling him, that literally he's going to have a heart attack. I just came out of the hospital, I had heart issues, and how do you know all this stuff? And so he got really defensive.
Should have been like, I fucked your wife before you came. She told me. I'm kidding. I'm fucking kidding. Oh my God. They can't get it up no more, that fucking weak-hearted motherfucker.
You need crystal, man.
I'm kidding.
That was like messed up. So he...
No, because I trust me, I'm into this. Like, I'm into this. Like,
yeah.
But that's why my mind just wanders.
This is mahogany obsidian. This is
beautiful.
Very grounding. That's my next piece. I also do wire wrapping jewelry because I don't like to hold things in my pocket, so I like to flash them.
That's badass.
So
let's put it here.
What happened was, I said, okay, praying to my angels, praying.
Yeah, sorry.
I said, look, let's invite the people that resonate with my vibration. I only want to attract those that really feed my the frequency that I have to give them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it worked. So that ever since then, that's all I do. Because I can't just go up to people.
You can't.
And I go
They're
to
not
these
ready for
concerts and a lot of these biker events and stuff. And I see oh my God, this person, what are you doing?
He's troubled.
I feel like telling them, but I can't, and they're not open to receive it. So I just,
that's like
it's exhausting.
That's like one of those the things you watch in the movies with the time travelers, and it's like, don't fucking talk to anybody because like they're not ready for that information. They're not. You have to avoid contact at all costs.
Yeah, and this is why I focus on aligning my chakras so that I can respond instead of react to other people's human behaviors, because if you're not grounded, then you react.
Right.
This is a stone. You can't touch it. But this is a stone.
Oh, that's beautiful.
This is
I've never seen anything like that.
It's labradorite. And I don't know if anybody can see the flashiness in there.
Yeah, that's it's reflective, like
it's like a translucent. But this is my stone. This is my home. This is my galaxy right here.
That's amazing.
And this right here represents the auric field in it, and you can align your chakras like instantly with this. And I like to carry it because it makes me feel good. And then everybody always says, "Hey, I don't need a rock." It's not that. These are semi-precious stones. They still hold some integrity of metaphysical powers.
Yeah.
And they're implements of our power. That's why they're here. These all represent their accents of our power, and they're here to help us tune. So a lot of them, like selenite, which is like 500 million years old.
Yeah, neighbors.
500 million years old. That stone, and kyanite, which is the two that.
What is going on there?
This is the two that I love the most, and I use a lot in my spiritualism. Maybe I get mad because we're talking about.
No, yeah,
we talk about Jesus.
Fucking demons trying to get in here, like.
We're at Jesus. We heard you talking.
Why did you say?
Chico, get him.
Get him. Sick him. Sick him.
What is that?
Sick him.
What is that? So hey, it's okay. Thank you for protecting me. I use the selenite a lot in my healing sessions. Selenite holds no negative forces. It's made up of water, crystallized water from 500 million years old.
Yeah.
And so I use it to charge my crystals. When I use it in my sessions, honestly, when I have headaches, or if I have a headache, or someone that has a headache or sore throat, I put it up next to it and it goes away. It's not the placebo effect. It's not the intention. Exactly. These crystals have powers, and if you enact them and you engage them and activate them, they serve a purpose. Like I wear the labradorite here, and then I have some here. Hematite, obsidian, and tiger's eye, all about balance. And this is muakkite, which is basically an anti-aging. It helps to revitalize the cells. And then you believe all that stuff. I know it's crazy. And a lot of people say, "Oh my God, this is all crazy."
No, some people think it's crazy, and some people think
I need more.
Going outside's crazy. Like, I mean, you can't understand that.
And I have some on my bike.
Do you have? Well, people. I think it's been tradition for a very long time. People put some good luck charms on their bike. Like for Harley, it's the bell.
Bell. I have it up front there. You can see.
Yeah,
it.
People always do that.
But it wasn't enough.
Yeah. No. And then people don't stop at just the bell.
For example, when people are touching your bike and they're having some issues in their life.
Right. I was just thinking about that with the fucking rock. I was just thinking, I was going to tell you, like, don't you get like people's problems when you're touching their rocks?
You can. And
are you going to go around saying I touched your rock now?
But see, that's a grounding.
Yeah.
So good. And you know that I have good energy. So the intention is good.
Yeah.
It's when people are corrupted, and so and then they have entities too, that the crystal can come in and actually disguise. Entities can come in and disguise themselves as conscious beings, and they can attack you. Anytime you lower your vibration, you're susceptible. Lowering your vibration can consist of numbing the senses. And when you numb the senses, that's when they attack you the most. When you drink, when you take the pill, smoke weed, all that stuff.
Even when you smoke weed or mushrooms and all
Anything,
that stuff?
any psychedelics, anything you do, they know that this is your
fun.
weakness. Yeah, but
it's
fun.
fun.
It's not you that's doing it. It's them. They want your soul and spirit.
But where is the, like, I've always had this thought that, back to what I was telling you about, like the parenting and the system and the controlling and, you know, don't do this, don't do that. And I feel like that's a fake version of us. And I do feel in some instances.
Why do you say that?
Well, because if you're raised that the police is this and the government's this and you need to get a job and you need to work 40, 50 hours a week because that's normal and anything outside of that's not normal. And when you're brainwashed with all this garbage, thinking that's the only way to live your life when there's billions of ways to live your life, when you're limited and that's you have to dress with a tie and a collared shirt. Like right now it's free. Now we're
That's
cool.
your parents' influence.
I understand that. But what I'm saying is I feel that many people are like that. Are raised in a certain way where they're in this controlled environment. Mm-hmm. You know, there's people that look at you and me on motorcycles and be like, oh my God, on a motorcycle? That's so irresponsible and
so
stupid.
dangerous.
Oh my God. I knew somebody who died on a motorcycle. Like, shut the fuck up. Like, I knew somebody died standing up, you know, whatever. I knew somebody died of old age, whatever the fucking case is. But my point is that when you drink or smoke weed, and again, I'm not promoting neither. Like, I've cut back. I stopped smoking cigarettes. You know, I cut back on the drinking, only on a few shows and stuff
weed?
like that. Very rarely. No, I smoke weed probably 4 times a month. You know, and I want to smoke more, to be honest. I really do. Like, there's a part of me that says I should be smoking weed at least 4 times a week. I swear. But my point is that I think that's the real you. When you get that little buzz and you get that little high, pero contigo, Chico. When you get that little buzz and you get that little high and you just drop this, I don't have to worry about what the neighbors are going to think or what the person across the street or what my boss is going to say or what anybody's going to judge me for. When you drop those guards down and you feel fucking relaxed, like, I think that's the real person.
It's not.
No.
Those are the entities. They're controlling you. Those are the ones that are attacking your emotions. And what I just did a talk on weed, marijuana, because it's a huge subject that, and I'm like, a lot of people don't like to hear it, but it's bad, you know, and you see it being more of an influence on younger kids because it's the easier way to control them, you know, and to corrupt their minds.
Yeah, dumb them down.
What marijuana does specifically, not just lowers the vibration, but you're actually deleting the dopamine and serotonin, which you need those beautiful hormones to sustain your emotions. Any type of drug, alcohol does it too. Any psychedelic, any what is it?
LCD.
LCD.
LSD.
You said it.
You tricked me, man.
What do you put in this? Come on. What's going on? The LCDs.
Yeah, Samsung LCDs.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you do the fucking, even TV is a type of brainwashing or emotional numbness.
Well, you don't necessarily have to do drugs to lower your vibration. You can be in an emotional state.
Yeah.
Which I was. And that was my rock bottom, you know. So any kind of numbing the senses or unnaturally or inebriation.
But isn't weed natural? Like
so is caffeine, but you get adrenal fatigue. If you get adrenal fatigue, what happens? You get thyroid issues. You know.
You see, my thing with weed that I will agree with you on this, and dude, I don't smoke much weed at all. Like, I really don't. But when I do, I feel
and it's
fucking
okay.
great.
I'm not here to judge you.
Yeah. No. But when I do, I feel great, man. And this is why I'm not even kidding. I feel like I should be smoking at least for every podcast. But my point is, I got to smoke some weed. My problem with weed right now is they're making it so fucking crazy right now. I mean, there's people, they're making weed that's like fucking purple with red like that. It's called Chico Boom or something. And it's like,
what is it?
50% THC.
Girl Scout cookies.
I mean, they got everything.
Like
you got wedding cake, Girl Scout cookies.
You
got
sativa and indica.
Yeah, you got
hybrid.
Yeah, but they're so strong and potent that like you take one fucking hit and you're just dumb afterwards. You're drooling and all you want to do is eat pizza and fucking Dr. Pepper.
Right.
You know, so and that's a problem. But I'm talking about like if you get like, you know, organic, good fuck like anything. Nobody
does that. Why do you think In-N-Out's so good? Have you been to an In-N-Out at night? You look at half of those people.
Yeah,
are buzzed, which is great. Chick-fil-A, all that stuff. It's great because as soon as they opened up,
Raising Cane's. Have you been there?
That dark energy, which is attached to marijuana, it's a dark energy, and it's attached to it. So if you sell it, or if you do any kind of something with even CBD, which is, we're discovering, you know, my research that CBD actually affects the liver. It goes right to the liver and it affects it.
Depending how you consume it, but yeah.
Anytime.
If you goes there first. If you do edibles, if you do edibles, it goes straight to the liver. If you do the rubbing, like for an injury, that doesn't go straight to the liver.
It still does.
If you smoke it,
it has to go because it has to filter through it.
I don't know about. Yeah, I don't know enough to.
So
rebuttal you.
But basically, back to weed. The number one thing that it does is it changes your brain chemistry to the point where you lose that serotonin and dopamine, which you need. Okay, and you wonder why people are in such a depressed state. You know, because
when they smoke
that's
weed?
What weed does. It
when I see people smoke weed, I see people happy, man.
Yeah, because they don't know anything different. Like if it's not them anymore. The weed is controlling them to the point.
Man, like I play guessing games and word games, and we do these challenges, and you know it's like a fucking event, and the amount of bonding and laughing during these, like we'll grab a topic and just be like, okay, grab an item. What's this? And then you're like, oh, it's a boob, you know? And they're like, what's this? And, oh, beep, boop, pop, I'm fucking alien. Like, you know, like we play this game and we'll do, yeah, go ahead. You see, you play, oh, it's a water bottle. Good job.
Two of them, so I do Madonna.
You know, but we interact and bond and like give credit to each other. Like, that was a good one and that was hilarious. And let's try
this. You can do that without it.
But it's not as funny.
But why?
Because, for example, like one of the guys that I hang out with a lot, you know, he fucking works a lot, man. He's got a crazy schedule, and when he's off, his brain is still. He's not present. He's not present.
Well, let me ask you this:
he's sitting in front of me, but he's still at the office. Does he
love his job?
No.
Okay, then.
No, but hold on. It's his business. It's his business. You know, it's not a job; it's his business. It's what it brings bread and butter to the family.
I think a lot of people that in my experience, the ones that I've known that smoke weed are compensating. And then
there are those too. There are people that fucking hit it hard. Look, I think there was
too much of anything is not good for you.
Of course, man. Of course. I think they said, look, people shouldn't even smoke weed till they're 23 to 25 years old. Mm-hmm. Okay, you smoke before that, you have a developing mind and brain. You are fucking with that development, smoking weed anytime earlier than that. After that, you're not going to get the crazy addictions. Like there is the potheads that you're talking about that are just fucking numb to everything.
But it's a gateway. You have to understand.
No,
that.
It's not a gateway. That's bullshit.
Oh no,
that's bullshit. That I call bullshit all day. I know people that smoked weed their whole life and they've never done anything.
It is a gateway for a lot of things, my friend.
I disagree with that.
Okay,
I really
we can agree to disagree.
Yeah,
but it is a gateway.
A gateway to what? Other drugs or bad habits?
Like all kinds of things. I can name a list of things that are gateways of bad things. It just it opens up that whole dark side of that where these entities can come in and control your mind. Now with ayahuasca, that's a whole different ballgame.
Right.
But it's very similar to marijuana because with ayahuasca, that is attached also. There's conscious beings that are attached to it. Yeah. Because they know people are gonna try to fix their inner self. All right. And then what they want to do is these entities come in. As soon as this person engages in that psychedelic behavior, then it traps them. it jumps them down and brings them down even lower. Okay.
But I think that comes into a quality thing, you know. I really do, because, for example, years ago you would hear about ayahuasca and it was just it was life changing experiences, and you found the true self and blah 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 blah. Now I had a buddy of mine that just went to Colombia and he did ayahuasca. He says there was like a tour bus and it was a tour package and everybody got to do it together and he didn't feel anything and it was dog shit, and the quality of it just is terrible. And that's just one example of that one was weak. But then there's other people that make it super strong and super taboo, and they give it to somebody that's never had this trip and they have really bad trips. And it's back to the weed. Now they're making weed so potent that, yeah, this newer stuff's fucking crazy. And somebody that's never smoked weed or doesn't smoke weed regularly shouldn't smoke that. But there is stuff that's normal, that's kind of organic, or you could even get organic, that you smoke and you feel a little good.
My point is that you shouldn't be able to
Any substance.
not on having the natural state of mind, natural body, mind, spirit, numbing the senses creates lower vibration. That is a fact.
Okay.
I don't care.
No,
there's marijuana scientists, we can agree to disagree.
Yeah.
This is what I do.
We're having a
for
conversation.
a living.
Yeah.
And I've seen it. I've seen people addicted to it. I've seen people not addicted to it. And I've seen what it does to them just doing the first time. And I see it every day. It's an issue. It's a problem. And so these people that are being influenced by these drugs are being controlled. They don't realize it, but this is where I come in and I see it. I'm surrounded by this every single day. And it's tough being in 5G, really, honestly. And so, and oftentimes when I'm riding my motorcycle, I feel everything. So I kind of tune into 3G. And I handle the bike a lot better when I'm at 3G. But when I'm in 5G, I feel everything, and it's not fun.
It's too much.
It's just too much. It's nice. But that's why I tend to focus more on connecting to my higher self when necessary. When I go in and I know that I'm going to have a session with somebody, I spend the whole day connecting to that person.
What's the process of your session?
It depends on what they need. Intuitively.
So yeah, like what's a common
so
thing
like
that
for
reach out to you?
For you, I would say, for example, self-esteem. You know, there's some complex stuff there, inner child, and it doesn't mean that you have to have bad parents, because you can be connected to your parents. But if they don't make you feel worthy of yourself, then we have to work with that energy. We have to fix it. You know what I mean? So let's say if you have health issues and doctors can't find out what it is, they come to me. And I have a lot of doctor friends that I know that they send people to me for misdiagnosis and to find out what's really wrong with them, so it helps them.
Doctors?
Yeah.
Wow.
I had a friend of mine reach out to me, and she goes, he said, "Hey man, something's wrong. You know, I need your help. Can you do a session with her?" I said, "Sure, no problem." So I went in, and the doctor actually said that she had a lump in her breast. And so I did some work on her. I found a lot of stuff. I mean, there's personal stuff that I found that I knew, just to reassure her that I was real.
Yeah.
Because I needed that intuitively. She didn't think I knew what I was doing. But once I told her, she was surprised. You could see the look on her face, like, "Oh my God, how'd you know that?" So when I went in the first round, I actually found this bump wasn't in her breast. It was in her lungs, and it was second stage cancer. So I once I told her this, it's like, you know, you have second stage cancer. And it's like, well, how did you find out? How do you know this? It's hard to explain, but.
So the doctor probably missed it because she was
misdiagnosed.
He missed it because he was just looking at the breast area or something. No, I'm because like if he did X-rays, or you know, how would he miss that?
I mean, that's the sad thing about our medical system,
and it happens all the time.
There's no eye in wellness, right? but Western medicine doesn't teach, how to prevent it or how to. They only fix it temporarily or give you, here, take this pill.
Yeah, it's the whole.
Right.
You have a rock in your shoe.
Right.
They don't remove the rock. They just give you medicines to just numb the pain, so you continue walking.
So this is one of the reasons why I explored into that realm. I studied nutrition, health. I became a holistic practitioner. Studied metabolism, tissue aging. I worked for stem cell research. I was a chemist and did both spectrums of chemistry, biochemistry and metallurgical. What I found more fascinating was the body side of it, because I wanted to find a cure. I wanted to prevent it, and I wanted to treat it. Why is it happening to us? And because of my family members getting sick or having cancer or stuff like that, and leukemia. My uncle died of leukemia. My grandfather died of cancer. He had an orchard, so it was prominent for him, every single day being exposed to that pesticide. So according to astrological and numerology, according to the year I was born, my focus is all about nutrition and well-being and spiritualism. So finding this out when this lady put me down on the floor, on the floor, on the table, I started, downloading all that information, and I became who I am today.
That's amazing. I always had this theory of, because you talk about coming back to the earth and different levels and different things. And, I always think that's what your sign is, Gemini and Taurus and Leo, that represents how many times you've been back onto this planet. Mm-hmm. So like, I like, so there's this belief that there's no,
we'll do a test. What's your birthday?
5/26.
What year?
82.
So have you done any numerology at all?
No.
You know what numerology is?
Nope.
Numerology. So basically your birth date and the time, your time you were born exactly?
No.
Well, that's important.
I think.
Did you know that the
I think
time?
it was like 8:36 in the morning or something.
Well, it has to be. We have to know.
No, I don't.
Because that exact time, space, according to all the astrology and the whole galaxy, everything that was aligned.
Yeah.
In that second you were born.
Here, let's
is a frequency, is a vibration, is an energy that only you came through this.
Hold on.
Are you calling your mama?
Yeah.
Ay, mijo. She's got a caldo de pollo already.
Arroz con frijol.
So what was the year you were born?
82.
You're young, man. Let's see, 82. Okay. Month?
May.
Well, you're a Taurus?
Nope, Gemini.
Oh, you flip.
I go from happier to happier.
May?
26.
26.
82. And I'm going to bleep all this out of the dates, obviously.
You are going to bleep it out?
Oh, nobody needs it. What, should I give my social too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're born May 26th, 1982?
That's correct.
Okay. So numerology, basically, it's a number representing that time and space, exactly when you were born. Mm-hmm. According to your the numerology, you're a number 6. This is your life path number, and it means you're the counselor. So, would you want me to read it?
Yeah. Let's do it, man.
So you're all about caring, healing, protecting, and teaching others.
Ooh, that sounds just like me.
You are short. No,
what a fucking what a dick, man.
I'm just kidding.
And my cock's huge, man.
But you're supposed to stand out because you're a good looking guy. You know?
Oh, thank you.
So you're supposed to stand out.
Thank
you know what I mean?
That
if
way
you're
I have my own
short or
show?
tall, it doesn't matter.
That's right.
You know?
That was all the size of your cock, you know?
Right. I'm only 2 inches
No.
off the ground. But anyway, you are the stabilizing factor that maintains a tight-knit family or community. However, your caring nature may be overwhelming at times and become insensitive and meddling. This is hard to read without my glasses.
No, I can't.
I'm
Trust me.
53, man. So I'm like,
You're 53?
Yeah.
You look fucking amazing, dude. I thought you were like 39 or something.
Thank you.
I thought you were like one of those dorks that's like, oh, man. 53, that's good.
Others may also take advantage of you
Fuckers.
and sacrificing your nature. So
that happens all the time. It's
but
happening
yeah.
right now.
So that's just the basic life path number. So
Number 6?
here is your, and I'll send you all this.
That'd be
and
cool.
You can get it. So your central focus, this is your purpose here on earth. You were born with a innate desire to help. Okay. And I see that in you. You have this, good nurturing ability and comforting.
See? Thank you.
You support and comfort others. Others will perceive this is in you and will approach you for assistance. So you wind up helping others, right?
All the time.
As a result, you will meet many people and they'll actually take advantage of you.
100%.
Probably
happens all the time too.
Because you're so kind. He's like, hey man, I'll take advantage of you. Let me take out your bike for a couple of days, man.
No. Hey, man, help me pay my rent. Hey, I need a place to stay.
Oh, really?
Hey, I need a job. Hey, can I borrow money? Hey, man, I'll get you back. I got you.
Yeah.
Never.
And therefore, it is important for you to learn how to give and take, especially
take people's
know how
lives.
to say no.
Something I preach all the time and something I don't do enough.
So let me put my glasses on because I can't see.
I preach that all the time.
And here it says, you will feel responsible for both others and yourself, and you must learn to respect others, especially their boundaries, and try to avoid intruding too much into their lives. Develop the skills to guide and assist those around you and empower them without over interfering. This will be one of your biggest challenges. It is also important for you to accept that there is no such thing as a perfect world. Learn how to let go and move on. As long as it's not bogged down, there are life's misfortunes, so whether they occur in family relationships or elsewhere, those are the positives. Okay.
Those are the positives.
There's negatives, negative expressions. The negatives, you will initially feel unhappy with your overwhelming sense of responsibility, but you will come to accept that as your life, I won't say it says here, but you will come to accept it as your life's role. So we have to take charge. There is destiny. Destiny can change. Taking responsibility doesn't mean that you should dominate a situation. Be careful not to become overcritical and don't protect your expectations when dealing with others.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So that's just a brief, I'll send you all this because it goes
like
on.
that.
I make a reading
I like that.
forever. So that's basically
I thought
what numerology is. So,
and if I gave you the month or the time,
if you give me the time, then I can actually do your
exact.
astrological chart. So I can tell you everything about where you're going, what you're doing, what times are going to be challenging for you the most.
Yeah.
If you have health concerns, you need to watch out for in those spectrums. And this is great. I mean, there's mystery. Right. I don't really tell. A lot of people ask me, do you do tarots? I go, yeah, I do tarots, but I don't really like giving bad news.
Yeah.
Because tarots, I only do them.
My mom does that. My mom did that one time.
Really?
I was going through I don't want to say a dark time, but a troubling time. And she knew nothing of it. Nothing. And she wanted to throw the cards, but she las tarjetas españolas, and she threw those. Fuck, man, she nailed everything. I was like, oh, and my mom was like, I'm gonna stop. I think this is wrong. I go, you have no idea how on point you are. And she kept going, and everything was just
right. I mean, like I said, there's a lot of people out there that are going through things, man.
A lot.
And
And
that's why you
even
gotta
realize it.
be nice to them, man. You gotta you have to be kind to people, you know, no
You
matter
have
what.
to.
You know, even if they're in your face. You
I
have to
just
do
I
it.
just heard something recently that fuck, where did I hear this, man? I can't remember where I heard it.
The
but
news?
No. It was a story. It was something. But basically, it was about a detective that investigated suicidal deaths. And he had done this for years and years and years and years and years. And like, oh, this person, this was absolutely a suicide. This wasn't a suicide. Oh, this one wasn't. Whatever. And he kind of grew to it. Like it was normal. And they asked him, where the fuck did I hear this? They asked him, did one ever stick out more than the others? And he goes, there was one that stuck out more than the others. And he goes, well, what happened? And he goes, well, there was a guy, he threw himself off a building. And when, we found the body, clear suicide. We went to his property, to his house, his home, apartment, whatever the case is. And there was a note, very typical of a suicide. But what was inside the note was the shocker. And the letter started with, I'm going to take my life because blah, 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 blah. But he put one condition. And the condition was, if anybody says hi to me or smiles to me on my way to my death, I will not kill myself. You know what I mean? So he's all, look, I can't live this life no more. I'm done. But if anybody on the way from point A to B just smiles or says hi, I won't do it. And that's where he was like, fuck, what a society that we live in, that this guy's life could have been prevented just by a simple hi. And it goes back to what you're saying. You need to be positive, because you don't know. You sometimes get a car and there's a car in front of you and they slow down. You're like, fuck you, motherfucker, hijo de puta, maricón. You don't know if they're you don't know what's happened in their life. You don't know if they lost a loved one or their wife just cheated on them or their kid. Like you have no fucking idea. And that's something that we're just like, ugh.
I just found out today, a friend of mine, his brother committed suicide yesterday.
Oh, man.
And I saw him today. I was coming on my bike down Mulholland, and I was like, man, you're dealing with that. And he just put a funeral together for another person that committed suicide. It was a son of two people that we knew in the area.
Speak closer to the mic.
So basically what happened is whenever someone commits suicide, there's two things that happen. It's not them that are committing suicide. It's an entity. Most of the time, it's an entity possession. And the entity's telling them to do it. The entity's telling them, they're hear voices. You hear it so often, but anybody that takes their life is some form of attention that they need. Like when they were killing somebody, nobody really says they're going to kill somebody. They just do it. But if they're saying they're doing it, it doesn't pan out the way they want, because it's just for attention. And that's most of the time. What I found with spiritual entity possession, that's real, man. And you look at homeless people, for example, you see them yelling and screaming at someone or something, and you're saying, like, man, this guy's crazy. That is a real entity possession, and it's demonic possession. And they can come in various states, benevolent and malevolent. Malevolent's not so harsh, but malevolent is, and it can change. The demonic ones, once one gets in, then they invite others, and then there's no going back. It's horrible.
Yeah.
You hear voices, and they literally take your soul and spirit, and they have the power to do that because you've been intoxicated most of your life,
Long enough.
lowered your vibrations, and it's basically you have no mindset, no spiritual control. You know what I mean? no
Well,
abilities.
it's hard because you're talking about a certain extent, a certain point where it's like it's almost a lost cause. But even the day-to-day tasks, like your mind is a dick. Your mind's a fucking dick because your mind will give you a million reasons not to go to the gym. And then you'll be like, wow, you don't have those shoes and your favorite socks are dirty. And just, you haven't seen that episode of Netflix. And your mind is convincing you to like be as lazy as possible for whatever fucking reason. But then at the end of the day, your mind's like, you bitch. You didn't go to the gym, you fucker. I can't believe what a lazy fat fuck you are. Like your mind fucks with you,
But
let alone.
you think that's your subconscious?
I don't. That's something in my fucking
Your
head.
subconscious is powerful, man.
Let me tell you something. I know for a fact people face this all the time, and this is why there's so many fat slobs and so many people out of shape and so many people not taking care. Oh yeah, I don't give a fuck, And this is why it exists because it's not easy, man. It's not easy to eat good. It's not easy to work out. It's not easy to stay fit.
Hold on.
No, I'm talking about normal.
It's not easy. That is a mindset. Hello, you are what you eat. You have control of that.
I understand that, but if you want to get into food, you could. I understand what you're saying.
It's a vibration,
but
man.
I understand that, but it's a challenge, and the goal is to beat that challenge and to do it.
There's moderation.
If you're tired, if you're sore, if you're feeling lazy, if you're feeling sleepy, to get off your ass and work out.
Right.
Who's
controlling that behavior?
Your lazy mind.
No,
your lazy mind.
It's
your
your
lazy
subconscious.
Your subconscious is looking for comfort.
Right.
Your subconscious wants donuts and cupcakes and fucking a frappuccino with whipped cream and extra toppings, and then it wants you to fucking sit on a couch with a blanket with the AC full blast and watch fucking Ozark until fucking
Desperate
4 a.m.
Housewives.
Yeah, Desperate Housewives. Porn. No, I'm kidding. Or maybe I'm not. Who knows? But like your mind, your subconscious is keeping you. And of course, you got to be like, fuck you, man. I ain't doing that shit.
Let me ask you a question. You're talking on the phone and you're walking at the same time. Mm-hmm. So who's doing all the work? Your subconscious or your conscious?
Well, it's a habit.
What are you paying attention to when you're paying attention?
I pay attention to everything. I pay attention to my phone, my surroundings. I'm looking. Somebody just walked by me. Somebody has their dog. It just peed over there. There's a car coming.
When you're listening to the phone, your conscious is this is what the focus is.
Right.
But your subconscious, which is the most powerful part of your mind, is actually doing the walking. And that's where we come in as light workers. We reprogram the subconscious.
Yeah.
And in early times, they've had hypnosis to come in and reprogram them.
No, I get that. Because we're talking about suicide and mental health,
but that's all related to.
I understand that, but I don't want to get off the topic of the suicide because that's something that if we can prevent it somehow, we need to do our part, or everybody has to do their part. My question to you, my point was, the regular tasks for regular healthy individuals, it's difficult sometimes to deal with your thoughts, let alone that if you're sick or to that extent. Somebody that's thinking about doing suicide or knows somebody that's dealing with or thinking about doing suicide, what would you recommend? How do you deal with this, or how do you approach someone? What would be your recommendations?
Well, it's not that I get recommended. I get called to help them. And the first thing that I do is remove that entity or entities. And it's tough. I just did one like 2 weeks ago. And this was really aggressive. I mean, it was choking me at first. And then when I actually got them down on the table, in this case, in their bed, I laid them down, and then I felt them pushing me down on the floor, and I couldn't breathe. So I went out the room, took a breath, called to my source, and give me the power and strength to help them. And then it took about 2 hours roughly. I didn't time it because I just focus on the energy and time.
You probably can't even focus on time.
And it's kind of like a modern day exorcism, man. That's really what it is. And to actually have the gifts to do this is really fascinating, but at the same time, it's scary. I don't go in with the fear. I go in with the power and the mindset that I'm going to remove this guy, and they don't want it. They fight you, and that's why they come in and they start choking you. They pull you down to the ground. They do everything in their power not to do it. But that's what I do is I go into their subconscious. I go in and talk to them because that's the power you have. Your subconscious mind is the most powerful. It's not your conscious mind because your conscious mind is the most programmable.
Right.
You're influenced by the phones. You're influenced by the death scroll on Instagram saying this is what you have to like and what you have to be. And so they're programming you easily through food, through manipulation, through the things you watch and observe,
Right.
through your conscious mind. Your subconscious mind is the one that needs the work. And that's when I go in and do it. Recommendations for suicide? That's a tough one because
I mean, I'm sure there's professional. I mean, there's ways.
Working with someone that commits suicide is basically there's a wide spectrum of things that they be going through, and we have to just dig them up, and they have to come to the surface. And that's the only way you can treat it. You know, I'm having a background in psychology. I can tell you that it's difficult because all these things have to come on the surface to deal with them. But so many people are suppressing them. So many people are pushing them down, and they don't want to deal with it. So they take the drugs. They take this because it makes them feel good.
To ease the pain, to cover it.
It's a substance, you know, it numbs the senses where they don't have to feel that anymore. But that's today's world we're living in right now. You see so many.
Fast pace, yeah.
And look.
Well, it's worse today.
Here's an example.
You just see everybody posting happy thoughts.
And they're not.
Yeah.
They're doing it to appease them and they're really suffering. And I can see it. I can feel it.
David Peterson, Jordan Peterson. Do you know who that is? Anyways, the guy's fucking brilliant, and he was like, oh no, I think it was Gary Vee. It was one of those guys, and they were like, if your mother and father are arguing and yelling at each other like they hate their fucking guts, but you're at Disneyland for whatever reason, and they smile for a picture and post the happiest day of our life, and the kids are seeing you. The parents argue, that's a big fucking problem. Like, that's a huge fucking, that's so deep and like, that's fucking crazy.
Right. Well,
that's fucking crazy.
Like I said, a lot of people are going through some stuff, but
everybody's
do they want to do the work on themselves? That's the question, you know, and you can't force that.
Yeah.
I can't change anybody. I'm just a messenger. I'm giving people tools and giving them messages. Only time can change people, man. That's the reality of these.
Yeah.
If it is, I just go out and live the best life I can possibly, can live until I die. I shed this wardrobe and then I come back to another body. You know, my soul and spirit will live forever. And that's the greatest thing about resonance is that we made marks with people that we've established this connection with through soul and spirit, that we're reconnecting with these people.
Yeah.
You know, in a soul resonance way.
And that's where like the deja vu's come
from. Yeah. Oh man, you sound. I know you. Like you sound so familiar. You know, it's like, hey,
fucking.
And that's what the resonance.
Owe me money from a different lifetime. Right. This fucker. Dave, the great conversation, and we're gonna have to do this again. Please, where can everybody find you? What's your Instagram? Do you have a website?
Little Chico Official is both of my dogs and myself. We can find us on that.
And we didn't even talk about your bike this time, which we'll do next time. You know.
Yeah, it's all right. I mean,
fucking kick-ass bike, man.
Yeah.
Kick-ass bike.
It's not for standing out. It's just when you have the best and you want to do things with it.
Your bike's so fucking sick. I don't say that. I don't say that about a lot of people's bikes. This bike's pretty fucking sick. You gotta get the best.
He picked it.
That's
and
fucking
so
badass.
This is what it turned out to be. You know, I like to ride and I want to ride good and this is what I chose it to look like. You know, not because of the ego. It's just unfortunately a lot of people tend to think that, but it's not. It's just when you do something that is different. I want to be different, and if you notice everything. See, but these
disclaimers don't even need to exist. They don't even need to exist. You don't need to justify anything. You just need to say, that's my bike.
Mm-hmm.
That's my bike. Let's see real quick.
¿Qué pasó?
Oye, una pregunta. ¿Qué hora nací?
¿A qué hora naciste?
Sí.
De día entre las 10 y las 11.
¿Entre las 10 y las 11 de la mañana o de la tarde?
Sí, de la mañana.
De la mañana. Ok, perfecto. Gracias, mami. Ya te llamo para atrás.
Ok, bye.
Bye. All right, so you got that.
Okay.
Cool. Dave?
Hey, man.
Thank you, man. Send me some info.
Perfect.
Perfect time.
Like, boom.
We got the whole thing.
Yeah.
Boom, boom, boom.
All right, brother.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.